Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of my Snowflake Iron Man series, Adventures of Ow, featuring OneWayWallet, Ow for short, my NoCurrencies ultimate Iron Woman. If you haven't watched the first episode, I suggest you start at the beginning. You can find the link in the description. We're picking up right where we left off at the end of episode 1. We've finished all the free-to-play quests that didn't require GP, and now it's time to enter the world of members. Redeeming our bond here, and we're ready to go. So it might have seemed like I was perfectly positioned to proceed straight into members territory at the Taverley Gate here, but we're actually going to grab a few things first back in Lumbridge and nearby areas, and then meander back here for Druidic Ritual. You might have gathered from my last episode that I'm a big fan of questing, especially questing early on in the life of an account. Now that the free-to-play quests are finished and we're a member, we'll be turning our attention to members quests. The way I see it, quests are the bread and butter of RuneScape. They kickstart the stats on your account early on and unlock half the content the world has to offer. There's a bunch of quests we can already do, and I've planned out at least part of a route that winds all the way across the continent, in an effort to mitigate the pain of having literally 0 teleports at the moment besides home tele. Although it's got nothing to do with not using currencies, I won't be using any minigame teleports in this account because I think they're stupid and shouldn't be in the game. Once upon a time, you actually had to work a bit for transportation in the early game, and having more at your disposal from the beginning than home teleport has never sat well with me. Now, in addition to Druidic Ritual, there's several other quests we're gathering items for right now. The pickaxe we grabbed a second ago on the Lumbridge Gate Tower is actually for Observatory Quest, as is the bucket, since we need tin and copper ore to make the bronze bar, and a bucket of sand to make the molten glass. The pot is to get flour for Murder Mystery, the jug of water is for Monk's Friend, and the knife is to get the battered key for access to the Elemental Workshop. We're killing this rat right now to get the first of our meats for Druidic Ritual. We also want to do Waterfall Quest before doing any melee training, so we're going to get the rope we need from this mugger. Rope acquired. Over here in Draenor we need cheese for Witch's House. You might not know this, but you can also get a tinderbox from the Wise Old Man's house, which we'll be using to get 30 fire making so we can do Sea Slug, which is going to get us 24 fishing straight from level 1. Now we're over at the Falador farm for our chicken and beef for Druidic Ritual. I'll grab the chicken on my way out. Killing the cow calf might seem heartless, but really it's just got fewer hit points, so I'll save a rune or two this way. As a side note, cow hides and also dragon hides are completely useless, since we have no way of tanning anything without GP. That includes the tan leather spell, which is inaccessible because we can't do lunar diplomacy. And now we're off to Entrana, where we get our first taste of tables on a UIM. I'd have no clue about this mechanic if it weren't for UIM Verth, so shout out to him. For those who don't know, you can place items on a table and they'll stay there for 10 minutes, as opposed to the usual 2 minutes if you drop them on the ground. Obviously, I haven't mastered the art of identifying useful tables. I'm not sure at which point items placed on a table become visible to other players, but it's pretty unlikely someone will see our stuff and consequently nick it. I'd generally be more worried about leaving them too long while I was doing something or other and accidentally letting them despawn. Alright, we've made it to Entrana. We're here for 3 planks, as well as a bucket of sand and seaweed to make molten glass, all for Observatory Quest. And I just realized the seaweed isn't over here. It's over by the planks. That's great. Okay, there's our seaweed. Let's turn it into soda ash over on this range. And there's our bucket of sand. I also forgot to fill the jug with water, so we can do that now. There's 1 piece of molten glass and the last bit of XP for 8 crafting. Now let's get our stuff back. Alright, that's all of it. Great. We're off to Remington Mine now to get our ore together for the bronze bar and maybe an iron bar too for something else I've got in mind. Obviously our inventory space is a bit lacking at the moment, so we're going to have to get rid of something. We're tentatively dropping the knife, but probably keeping it. We can pick up the copper ore after we drop our pickaxe. Okay, we're eating our cheese, so I'll actually do Witch's House a bit later on. Are you serious? As if I have the space for that right now. God. Okay, the last thing we're gonna drop right now is the Ghost Speak Amulet, since we don't need it again until Creature of Frankenstrain, and that's still quite a while off actually. We've got room for one more iron ore right now, so we'll have 2 attempts at an iron bar. We can drop our pickaxe now and get our copper ore back. Scratch that, I'm an idiot. We don't have our copper ore, gee. I completely forgot about the knife. So much for having 2 attempts at making an iron bar. There's our bronze bar. The real question is, will we get an iron bar? Of course not. It's not the worst thing actually, since we need the axe upstairs here for Monk's Friend and Trinum Village, because both of those quests require logs, and we need the hammer for Dwarf Cannon, which means we'll be back to being 100% out of inventory space. UIM life, ladies and gentlemen. Not 10 seconds later, and we've had to make further cuts and drop the tinderbox because we still need bear meat to complete Druidic Ritual. This is actually not really an issue because I have no intention of training the 30 fire making with the bronze axe. We'll be able to get a steel axe pretty easily from ham members after we get 15 thieving. Our friend over here is being extremely considerate by standing exactly where he needs to be for me to safe spot him. 16 hit points. I had no idea that was coming. And 30 magic on the killing blow. Now we can go ahead and do Druidic Ritual. We've already been to the Cauldron, so that's 4 inventory slots freed. That feels so good. We're gonna get 1 more free slot in a second too, when we use the lamp on Herblore. And there's Druidic Ritual done, our first members quest and one of the most important ones at that. We get 3 Herblore to start, and using this lamp will push us to 6. Nice. Now it's time to cross White Wolf Mountain and do Murder Mystery. We'll be taking the longest and safest route so we don't get completely destroyed. I'm not chancing the quick route with no food to work with and only 16 hit points. One very long walk later and we've made it to Sinclair Mansion. We might only have 5 free inventory slots at the moment, but we should be just fine. For whatever reason, guides for this quest always recommend you have like half your inventory empty, but that's not wholly necessary and probably means you're doing more than you need to. The first thing to do is check the thread at the window so you can match the color to whoever committed the crime in your account. At most you'll have to choose between like 3 of them, so you only grab their items. Then you figure out whose prints match the murder weapon and you can drop everything else immediately. Anyways, I've got nothing else noteworthy to add about this quest, so let's skip to the end. 4 inventory slots, 3 quest points, and 14 crafting. Our next stop is the Elemental Workshop, but not to do the quest, since it requires coal that we don't have at the moment. Just going to get the battered key here, and then we can drop the knife we've been carrying. What we're after right now is an air staff, which is a 1 in 67 drop from the air elementals. Considering they have 30 hit points, and we're running kind of low on runes, it's admittedly rather unlikely we'll actually get the drop, but it's worth a shot. Obviously most irons would just buy an air staff at this stage, or more likely a fire staff and air rune packs, but at such a low level our non-shop options are quite limited right now. Aside from elementals, our only other viable option for an air staff is beginner and easy clues, which we'll probably have to resort to because it's going to be such an essential item for us. We've got a fat stack of chaos runes right now from the fortress, so with an air staff we won't need to worry about any other runes, and 550 casts of Wind Bolt will go a long way at such a low level. This is how we'll be killing these elementals. By standing in this area, we can effectively safe spot them because we're standing outside their wander range and they're forced into the corner. We're going to use up all of our mind runes here, and also use up most of our water runes on Curses for the extra XP. We only really need to save 6 water runes and 6 air runes for Waterfall Quest, which we'll be doing in the very near future. Can we get the 1 kill count dream? Nope. That's alright. We're about to get our last kill in here and probably going to be leaving empty-handed, even more so than we originally planned on being. I used up all my mind runes as planned, but as you can see, I'm an idiot and completely forgot to save 6 water runes. No air staff for me. To get those water runes back, we're going to be staff bashing goblins to death, so that's gonna be a fun time. Quite unfortunate, but that's the price to pay for negligence. But hey, worse mistakes have been made. Like, imagine if you made 2 Zenite necklaces on your Iron Man. That would really suck. At least we've still got 6 air runes. So this is where we'll be killing goblins, training strength a bit sooner than we wanted to. Afterwards we can keep questing in the area as was originally planned. Now here's where that noted food from our first beginner clue finally gets to come in handy. Here's 3 strength, a level I shouldn't have had to see, since Waterfall Quest takes you directly to 30 strength. I have no idea whether I'll keep this head until the point where I can use it, but I've got space for it right now, so I'll hold on to it. We've moved inside the Goblin Cave because after checking the wiki again, I discovered that only unarmed goblins drop water runes, and outside most of the goblins are unfortunately armed. There's our water runes, so we can get out of here and start Dwarf Cannon. 4 strength levels from staff bashing goblins, and surprisingly that only took us 12 minutes. I thought that little mishap would cost me a half hour, to be honest. So this is why we got ourselves a hammer. Evidently we aren't very skilled with it. Before we head back down south to the Goblin Cave, we're going to start Waterfall Quest and let the waterfall wash us downstream. Now if you didn't know, getting in the barrel means you don't take any damage going over the falls, which is of course preferable. Open the book, and then we can collect Galariel's Pebble under Trinum Village. You don't have to page through the whole thing, evidently. Now we can free the dwarf child, but we won't head back north until we've got the Pebble to enter Galariel's tomb and subsequently finish Waterfall Quest. Next on the list are Hazeal Cult and Monk's Friend over in Ardougne, which we're going to do in tandem since they're basically in the same place. Starting Hazeal Cult, and starting Monk's Friend while we're in the middle of Hazeal Cult. Technically, you could also throw in Clock Tower while you were here, but I have no compelling reason to spend the time in Clock Tower until I'm ready to do Tears of Gethics so I can get more runecrafting XP. Giving Brother Cedric our jug of water and the logs we just cut down, and quest complete. 13 woodcutting straight from level 1, and 8 law runes. I'm thrilled that I've actually already got the magic level to make use of them. I don't know if it's strictly necessary, but I keep grabbing the bread every time I'm down here in the Carnelian basement. That's Hazeal Cult done, and there's 11 Thieving from level 1. I've really never understood why so many people start out pickpocketing men in Lumbridge or chopping trees as soon as they leave Tutorial Island, when you can just do these 2 quests instead. At some point we're going to round off 15 Thieving at the cake stall and then hit up ham members for easy clues so we can get our air staff. Right now though, we're continuing our journey south and doing more multi-questing. We're coming up on the Trinum Village right here, where we can start that quest. And since we already started Waterfall Quest, we're also going to pick up Galariel's Pebble while we're here. Unfortunately, we're not in a position right now to do the entirety of Trinum Village, as without an air staff we've no means to kill the Khazard Warlord, so that's going to have to wait. What we will do though is swing south of here again soon and do the whole observatory quest, since that's actually doable right now, and it'll give us a nice boost to crafting and get us closer to finally being able to use our gold bar. For now though, we need 6 logs, so here's hoping I can hand them all in at once. So much for that. We dropped some of our stuff to make room for the extra logs, and now we can move on. We're just wrapping up our conversation with the last of the tracker gnomes, and this is where we'll leave off on this quest since we're quite close to the observatory now. We're going to grab 4 doses of this super anti-poison since we'll probably need 1 dose for the quest, and it will also surely come in handy later since we won't be able to make any ourselves for absolute ages. Not until we get our hands on a pestle and mortar, and the only place we can do that is in Tarn's lair. 3 planks, 1 bronze bar, and 1 piece of molten glass. 5 precious inventory spaces. Now let's go get that lens mold. Oh my gosh, this is only the 3rd chest. That's delightful. I accidentally prodded the guard awake before, and I thought he would have despawned or something. Oh gosh. Wow. Well, I'm terrible at the game, but miraculously not dead. And there's 2 guards. Why are there 2 guards? Okay, here's what happens if we die, and let's be honest, we probably will, because I'm not leaving here on foot without that lens mold. I think we have to hop worlds and just try our luck. Here goes nothing. What on earth? What? Oh my god. You know what? I'm not even gonna question it. We're alive and we've got the lens mold. We're just noting our food and healing up before we go any further so I don't accidentally die on the way to the observatory. And our constellation was rune crafting. So for our considerable trouble, we get an uncut sapphire, a useless amulet, and 20 crafting. We can now cut sapphires. I see a games necklace in our future. The next quest we're going to finish is Waterfall Quest, but along the way we can do a bit more of Trinum Village and Dwarf Cannon, as well as pick up a chisel in Ardone. Reclaim the first orb and take it back to Trinum Village. Sell off some junk for a bit of inventory space while we're near a general store. Hand in the first orb. And grab our chisel. That brings us one step closer to having a games necklace for our first real teleports. Now we can go tomb raiding. So after spending more than a minute here, I finally managed to actually get inside Glariel's tomb. I discovered afterwards from the wiki that the problem item in my inventory was the feathers. God forbid we stick a quill in someone's eye. Also, almost got one shot. Not my proudest moment. But we didn't die and we didn't lose any of our items, which definitely would have happened since the stuff was on the ground, and if we died and ended up in Lumbridge, we definitely would have hit that 2-minute despawn timer. So we can call that a success. Going to do a bit more of Dwarf Cannon now, and then we can finish Waterfall Quest. And there we have it. Finishing Waterfall Quest on a new account is always so huge. 30 strength and 33 attack, all without ever training melee, if we ignore our mini goblin staff bashing massacre to get back our water runes. Now we can drop the junk items we don't need and head over to Ardone. We can sell the other items we have no immediate use for to clear even more inventory space, and then we're hitting up the cake stall. We've got 11 thieving at the moment, and we're looking really good on inventory space at the moment, which I'm feeling quite happy about. We're going to stay here until 15 thieving, and then it'll be time to start hunting easy clues at the ham hideout. I haven't got any concrete plans on what quests to do next, because our current priority is getting an air staff, and easy clues are how we'll get one. While we're doing easy clues, we'll do bits and pieces of whatever quests are in the proximity of our easy clue steps, since easy clues can take you just about anywhere. When we do finally get the air staff, it'll allow us to finish Trinum Village, Witch's House, the Grand Tree, and even start the Lizardman grind for Xeric's Talisman. For now though, this is where I'll be stopping this episode. I hope you're enjoying my progress thus far, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.